there's anything that I could tell my single self, it would be to do everything I could to enjoy the season. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather, and on my channel I talk all about faith-based dating and relationships. So if that is something that you are interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and I would love for you to be part of the community. And also, if you are over on Instagram, be sure to follow me over there as well. I am over there daily and I love to hear from you guys. And if I am a little bit out of breath, please forgive me. I'm 22 weeks pregnant and I'm really starting to feel it. So in today's video, I'm talking about singleness mistakes that I made. And this is not something that's super comfortable to share because I made a lot of mistakes, but I really wanted to share it with y'all so that hopefully I can help you avoid some of the mistakes that I made and really thrive in your single season. All right, so mistake number one was relying on myself instead of relying on God. And this one really got me in a lot of trouble. So I would really encourage you to seek God first when you are dating, to pray about the person that you're going to meet, to pray about the different dates that you're going to go on ahead of time, and really start to practice hearing his voice in those situations, because he loves you and he wants what's best for you. And if you listen to him and let him guide you instead of relying on your own strength and on your own understanding, then he will guide you and he will save you from a lot of heartbreak. All right, and then number two is huge, and that was not knowing my worth. And because I didn't know my worth, it led me to dating men who were not God's best for me, because I was seeking out my worth and my identity in them. Because you see, when we don't understand our worth and we don't know our value, then we do tend to seek it out in other people, and we look for them to fill that void in us. And we listen to and we believe those lies because we don't understand the truth. So if I could tell you anything in this season, it is to know your worth. It is to learn to love yourself, to learn to see yourself as God sees you, because that is going to be the foundation for a healthy and a thriving relationship, and later on a healthy and a thriving marriage, because you truly do attract what you believe you can have. And if you don't believe that you are any good, if you don't believe that you're beautifully and wonderfully made, then you're going to start looking for validation from other people. And when they don't give it to you, it's just going to make you feel even worse about yourself. And then it's just this vicious cycle. So know your worth. You don't need anyone to validate you if you know your worth and you know your identity and you know that you're beautiful just because God created you. All right, so number three is not knowing my boundaries and not knowing how to keep the boundaries that I thought I had. I knew that I wanted to wait until marriage. I knew that I didn't want to cross certain lines. But when it came to actually dating someone, I didn't really know just how far was too far. I didn't know how to communicate what I needed and what I wanted. I would say one thing, but then I would communicate something else with my actions. Because first of all, like I said before, I didn't understand my worth. And when you don't understand your worth, then you have a harder time maintaining boundaries because you don't understand the value of your body and the reason that you have these boundaries. So it's so important to not only know the boundaries that you want to keep, but to know why you have them and how you plan on keeping them before you ever even start dating someone. And I've talked about this in previous videos, but if you don't have these boundaries set and if you don't know how to communicate them, then you're a lot more likely to find yourself in situations that you don't want to be in and go a lot farther than you wanted to go. And I think when it comes to this area, that the question we need to be asking is not how far is okay or not how far is too far, but what can I do to honor God with my body and to honor myself with my actions? All right, and so that leads into my fourth mistake, and this was honestly my biggest mistake, and that was not waiting until marriage. I always knew from the time that I was a little girl that I wanted to wait until marriage to have sex. And it was just always this thing that I just thought would be so easy and that was just a no-brainer. I didn't understand how difficult it actually could be until I actually started dating. Again, since I didn't have those boundaries set, it made it a lot easier to fall into temptation and to put myself in situations that weren't the best, and to give into peer pressure and what other people were doing instead of relying on God to lead me. And I could have saved myself a lot of heartache and a lot of emotional trauma. God created sex for the confines of marriage, and there are so many reasons for that I'm not going to get into in this video. I could create a whole video about it, but I can assure you that as hard as it might feel, it is for your best and it is for your protection. God has your best interest in mind when it comes to this area. I promise you. So if you have those times that you're feeling weak and you're feeling like, why am I having to wait so long? What is the point of this? Is anyone else even doing this? I just want to encourage you that it is worth it and it is for your best interest. So if I could encourage you for anything, it would definitely be to continue to wait until marriage. All right, and then the sixth mistake was constantly comparing myself to others and where other people were at in their journeys, looking at other people who were already getting married, other people who were already coupled up, and just allowing that to cause unhappiness in myself. Comparison truly is the thief of joy, and that was definitely the case in my single season and something that I really struggled with. But we're all on our own journey and we all have our own story, and it's going to look different for each one of us. But God has a purpose in your individual story, so trust in that instead of looking at everyone else and what they're doing. And then the next mistake I made was going backwards, going back to past relationships instead of looking forward, because I felt like there was no one out there for me. And so instead of trusting that God had a plan, that God had someone for me, I would go back and I would reopen these doors that were meant to remain closed. But again, God has our best interest in mind, and sometimes that works out for people. Old flames will come back and it'll end up working out and they'll end up getting married. But for me, that was not the case, and none of those doors needed to be opened. And you'll know if that's the case for you. If it was closed for a reason, it probably needs to stay closed. And we just need to trust that there are good men out there and that God has someone for you in his perfect timing. And instead of going backwards, we can look to the future and know that God has a plan and a future for us. All right, and then the last mistake I made was just so desperately wanting my single season to end and allowing that to just create this unhappiness in me to where I wasn't able to see the beautiful moments in my single season. I wasn't able to fully enjoy it. But life is too short to be rushing on to the next thing or waiting for the next thing to happen to be happy. We need to learn to be happy in the moment, because we never know how much time we have left, and every day counts and every season matters. And every season of your life has a purpose. So if there's anything that I could tell my single self, it would be to do everything I could to enjoy the season. I know it's hard, especially when you see it happening for other people. And although we cannot control the timeline that God has for us, we can control how we react to the situation that we are in. You'll never regret choosing happiness in your season, but you will regret rushing through it and missing out on the key moments that you have to enjoy right now. Whew. All right, so that is it. Baby boy is really pushing on my lungs, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you got something out of it and that you're able to learn from some of the mistakes that I made. And I would love to hear in the comments any dating mistakes or singleness mistakes that you have made and what you've done to kind of course correct or overcome those mistakes and what you plan on doing as you move forward. If this video encouraged you at all, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And as always, I love to hear from you guys, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.